Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger is asking, what is the red line with Putin? What will it take for the U.S. to act? Kinzinger adds that the threat of Putin using chemical weapons in Ukraine is very real. A warning we, of course, have heard from U.S. officials as well. Joining me now, Republican Congressman and Iraq War veteran from Adam Kinzinger. Thank you very much, Congressman. Let's talk about what NATO could do. What can the U.S., what can NATO do that it is not doing? What do you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's important to note a lot of what we've done so far has been good. As we all know, nobody expected such unity that we've seen, intensity of sanctions. That's good. I think the banning of Russian oil was a smart move for the United States. I was very concerned with the kind of vetoing of the MiGs to Ukrainian control instead of working on a way that works with that. And I personally think we need to do a no-fly zone. I recognize there's risk in that. I think we've gotten to the point, though, where there is significant risk in inaction. And there's a lot of people that see this kind of confrontation with Russia as it would have been 30 years ago with the Soviet Union. It's a very different moment. And all Putin has to be willing to do is to threaten the use of nuclear weapons, chemical weapons. And that puts us in a position where we're letting him set the tempo, set the marching orders, and set that red line.
Congressman, what do you say to the military response, which is that how do you take out his air defenses? You would have to attack Russia to take out those, SAM 400s. Are you willing to do that? Because how do you create the no-fly zone? First, you have to clear the space and control the space before you can have a no-fly zone. And how do you do that without attacking Russia proper?
Well, look, there's risk in it. And I think here's the key that we have to look at it. There's different iterations of no-fly zones. We can declare one over all of Ukraine, over the western part of Ukraine for humanitarian reasons, or just in an area of a humanitarian corridor. And it's pretty simple. Look, at the request of the sovereign nation of Ukraine, who has a right to request help defending their sovereign airspace, we can come in and implement whatever that looks like. Could it lead to U.S. shooting down Russian jets? It could. Could it lead to, if a SAM paints a U.S. jet and fires, to the destruction of that? Yes. Right now, you are seeing thousands and thousands of Ukrainians killed, potential use of chemical weapons, and a threat of nuclear. Look, I understand the concern over the risk, but I think we have to just start looking at this and saying, what is the risk of inaction and where does this stop? And I hope, frankly, Ukraine is able to hold off, to cast off their Russian oppressors. We can look back and say, I'm glad we didn't have to do that. I just want us to start thinking that this may end up getting bigger before we see anything else happen.
Understood. You've really laid out what the terms are here. No good options. But you're saying we have to defend Ukraine before Ukraine is wiped out. Thank you very much, Congressman Adam Kinzinger, for us. An Iraq War veteran.
You bet.